My daughter looked me dead in the eye and said, "Mom, you've got retirement money sitting there while we're drowning. Not hello. Not how are you doing. Straight to money." I kept stirring my coffee even though the sugar had already dissolved. Ryan stood behind her, arms crossed, playing supportive husband while letting Megan do the dirty work. "You know housing prices are insane," Megan said. "If family doesn't help family, then what's the point?" Funny thing about guilt. People wrap it in love so you don't notice the knife. I sat back slowly. "How much are you asking for?" Ryan jumped in fast. "Not asking?" That word hit me wrong. "Not asking?" Megan slid a folder across my kitchen table. Mortgage estimates. Home photos. Budget plans. Sticky notes. My name written on the top page. I stared at it. "Why is my name on this?" She sighed like I was being difficult. "Because you'd co-sign, Mom." My stomach tightened. Nobody had discussed co-signing. Nobody had even hinted. They'd already built the plan. I was just arriving late to my own ambush. "You made these assumptions without talking to me?" Ryan gave a little laugh. "Come on, Linda, don't be dramatic." Dramatic. That word men use when a woman notices something shady. Megan leaned closer. "You live alone in a paid-off house. You barely spend money. What exactly are you saving it for?" I looked at my daughter. Really looked at her. The same kid I used to drive across town for soccer practice. The same girl whose college tuition I paid by working overtime weekends. Now she was studying my retirement account like an unlocked ATM. "I'm saving it," I said quietly, "for my retirement." Silence. Then Ryan snorted. "Retirement? You already are retired." There it was. The math. The ugly little calculation hiding underneath everything. "You're older. You don't need much. Your life costs less now." Megan pushed the folder closer. "We're not asking for forever. Just help us secure the house." "What kind of help?" "A co-signature. Access to part of your investment account if needed." If needed. Two dangerous words. I closed the folder. "No." The room went still. Megan blinked. Like she genuinely hadn't prepared for that possibility. Ryan's jaw tightened. "Seriously?" "Yes, seriously." My daughter's face changed right in front of me. Soft concern disappeared. Cold frustration took its place. "You know what?" she snapped. "You always do this." "Do what?" "Control everything with money." I almost laughed. Control? I spent 30 years making sure she never worried about bills. Never missed rent. Never started adult life buried in debt. But somehow boundaries had become abuse. "I'm not controlling you," I said. "I'm protecting myself." Ryan shook his head. "No, you're protecting your comfort." My comfort. That tiny retirement account built from decades of skipped vacations, secondhand furniture, and saying no to things I wanted. Comfort. Megan stood up hard enough to shake the chair. "Forget it." I nodded once. "Okay." That seemed to anger her more. Because people expecting obedience don't know what to do with calm. Ryan grabbed the folder. Megan headed for the door. Then she turned around. "You'd rather watch your own daughter struggle than help." The sentence landed exactly where she intended. Right in the mother guilt wound. But something inside me felt different. Tired. Clear. Older women learn something nobody teaches you. Love and access are not the same thing. I didn't answer. They left angry. The house fell quiet again. Too quiet. I cleaned the mugs. Wiped the counter. Loaded the dishwasher. Normal things. Safe things. But my hands felt cold. Because deep down, this hadn't felt like a conversation. It felt like step one. That night, around 11:40 p.m., my phone buzzed. A banking notification. I almost ignored it. Almost. Password reset request received. My blood ran cold. I hadn't requested anything. I opened the app immediately. Another notification. Failed login attempt. Then another. Wrong password. Wrong password. Wrong password. My breathing slowed into that dangerous kind of calm accountants know too well. Pattern recognition. Someone was trying to get into my account. I changed my login information instantly. New password. New security questions. New verification setup. Then I sat in the dark living room staring at my phone. Maybe coincidence. Maybe scam activity. Maybe nothing. But a memory surfaced anyway. 3 weeks earlier, Megan borrowing my laptop. Ryan asking casual questions about my investments during dinner. "How's your retirement account performing these days?" Too casual. Too interested. I hated where my mind was going. Absolutely hated it. Because suspicion changes a relationship forever. And once you start wondering whether family sees you as a person or as funding, you can't unknow it. My phone buzzed again. New text message from Megan. No apology. No cooling down. Just one sentence. We need to revisit this conversation. Don't make permanent decisions based on emotion. I stared at the screen, then slowly looked around my quiet little house. Paid off. Modest. Mine. For the first time in my life, I locked my office door before going to bed. And I didn't sleep much, because something told me this wasn't over. Not even close. Next morning, I called my bank before I called my daughter. Priorities. The fraud department checked the login attempts. 3 failed password resets. 1 recovery request. Different device. Different location. My chest tightened. Did anyone besides you have access to personal information? The agent asked. I opened my mouth to say no, then stopped. My daughter knew my birthday, my old passwords, my first dog's name, my anniversary date. The security questions weren't exactly Fort Knox. I changed everything. Everything. By noon, Megan showed up unannounced. Ryan beside her. Bad sign. People bring backup when they're not planning to listen. Megan walked in acting softer than yesterday. Too soft. Mom, can we talk? I stayed standing. Talk. Ryan forced a smile. We got off on the wrong foot. No. You stepped on my foot and asked why I was limping. Megan took a breath. We're under pressure. The house offer deadline is tonight. Not my emergency. Not my mortgage. Not my circus. I said no. Ryan's face tightened instantly. Patience gone. Do you even care what happens to us? I looked straight at him. Do you care what happens to me? Silence. There it was. The silence. The kind that answers everything. Megan crossed her arms. This is unbelievable. No, I said quietly. What's unbelievable is finding unauthorized login attempts on my retirement account 12 hours after this conversation. The room froze. Ryan recovered first. You accusing us? Interesting. Not what login attempts? Not oh my god. Straight to defense. Megan's eyes widened. Mom, seriously? I held her stare. Did either of you try accessing my account? No, she snapped too fast. Ryan shook his head. Paranoid much? Maybe. Or maybe older women learn to trust discomfort. I walked to my office, opened a folder, pulled out papers. My updated will, new financial directives, new power of attorney assignment. Not family, attorney. Professional trustee, neutral, protected. I laid them on the table. Megan frowned. What's this? Boundaries. Ryan laughed once. Wow. No, I said calmly. Wow is assuming my retirement belongs to you. Megan looked hurt now. Real hurt. Or performance level hurt. Hard to tell anymore. You'd choose strangers over your own daughter? I took a slow breath. No, I'm choosing myself. That sentence changed the room. Because they never expected it. Not from me. Not from the dependable mother. The fixer. The safety net. Ryan grabbed his keys. This is insane. Maybe. But peace often looks insane to people benefiting from your lack of boundaries. Megan's eyes filled with angry tears. You know what? Keep your money. I nodded. Okay. She hated that answer. Absolutely hated it. Because guilt needs resistance to survive. They stormed out, door slam. Car engine. Gone. The house became quiet again. But this time, the quiet felt different. Not lonely. Protected. 3 weeks passed. No calls. No texts. No birthday invitation for my grandson. Punishment. Access denied until compliance resumed. Old tactic. New clarity. Then one Tuesday afternoon. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mortgage lender. My stomach dropped. Ma'am, the woman said carefully, we're verifying information connected to a cosign inquiry. Cold. Instant cold. I never submitted a cosign inquiry. Silence. Paper shuffling. Your information appears attached to an active application. My heart started pounding. Not panic. Calculation. Evidence. I asked for copies. Everything. Within 48 hours, my attorney had the file. Forged consent language. Incomplete authorizations. Financial assumptions using my assets. Not enough to finalize fraud charges yet, but enough. Enough to end doubt forever. I sat in my lawyer's office staring at paperwork while something heavy settled inside me. Grief. Not because of money. Because clarity has a body count. And sometimes the relationship dies before you admit it. I didn't file criminal charges. Not then. But I sent legal notices. Formal. Precise. No access. No authority. No representation of my finances moving forward. Professional language where family trust used to live. Megan called screaming, "How could you do this to us?" Interesting wording. Not how could this happen? How could you? I listened quietly, then said something I should have said years ago. My retirement was never your business plan. Silence. Sharp breathing. Then she hung up. Months passed. Hard months. Holidays felt smaller. Pictures disappeared from social media. Mutual relatives picked sides without asking questions. Life kept moving anyway. Funny thing about survival. You keep doing ordinary things while your heart relearns reality. Then one Saturday, there was a knock on my door. Megan. Alone. No Ryan. No performance husband. Just my daughter. Older somehow. Tired. She looked at me and said quietly, "He left. Turns out financial pressure destroys marriages too." I let her sit. Coffee between us. Careful distance. She cried. Real crying this time. No negotiation. No spreadsheets. Just exhaustion. "I don't know how everything got so ugly," she whispered. I looked at my hands, then at her. "You stopped seeing me as your mother," I said softly. "You started seeing me as available resources." She cried harder. For a long time, neither of us spoke. Because healing isn't cinematic. Nobody delivers perfect speeches. Sometimes two broken people just sit inside uncomfortable truth. Did I forgive her immediately? No. Real life doesn't work like that. Trust rebuilds slow. Pain slower. But I did something important. I stopped confusing love with unlimited access. I helped her find a financial counselor. Not money. Guidance. Different thing. Healthier thing. And for the first time in years, help came with boundaries. My retirement stayed intact. My house stayed mine. My account stayed protected. And me? I learned something nobody teaches mothers. Being needed is not the same thing as being loved. Sometimes the strongest act of love is refusing to let someone build their future on your destruction.